This is Business and Economy Network.
The importance of agriculture in a nation like ours cannot be overemphasized considering our population. Welcome viewers to today's episode of your program, our program, Business and Economy Network. My name is Ohioze Edna. Still on Agricultural Report, we'll bring you words from the Managing Director, Sudit Oil and Chemicals Limited. And on Spotlight, we'll bring you the MD CEO, Rufus Farms Limited. We also bring you sights and sounds of Dizengoff Nigeria, Agronet Limited, Presco PLC, during the just concluded Agric Expo held in Lagos. It promises to be an interesting episode. Do stay tuned. I'll be right back.
To get insights, views, and critics on key players in various sectors of the Nigerian economy, watch Business and Economy Network. Virtually all sectors and industry in Nigeria face three notable challenges: funding, lack of raw material, and multiple taxation. The double-digit interest rate in Nigeria is very alarming when we think of how low interest rates are abroad. This makes it hard for businesses to approach banks for loans. Yet, as if that is not enough, manufacturing companies in Nigeria are also faced with the lack of adequate access to raw materials. And when these materials are available, to get to the point when company makes use of them is another challenge.
The major challenges we are facing in the industry is not peculiar to our industry alone. Is the financing. The interest regime in Nigeria is about 25 to 30%. And in other parts of the world, I'm even surprised in Europe, it's less than 1%. In America, it's less than 1%. In Malaysia, it's about 2%. That's one. Financing, that's one. The second one is accessibility of raw material. We see major roads in Nigeria are bad now. The farmer to transport the goods to the factory, at least some of the goods are supposed to take like 2 to 3 days to the factory. It takes like 15 days. Because of the bad roads. And multiple taxation too affect the industries as well. And manpower. Those are major factors that are really affecting the industry.
In the 70s, about 75% of the populace were involved in agriculture. Today, less than 20% are involved in agriculture. However, Sudit Oils and Chemicals Limited is setting the pace in making agriculture the sector of choice for Nigeria, as it has over 700 direct and indirect workers. With government support, companies like Sudit can even do more than expected as employers of labor.
In the 70s, I still remember while we were in primary school, they said that 75% Nigeria depend on agriculture. Today, I think it's far less than 20 or 30% that depends on agriculture. And agriculture is the only industry that can employ more hands. So if Nigeria can invest more in agriculture, we go a long way. We can be exporting our products to West African countries, even to Europe. We are importing tomatoes. And we have very good land to produce tomatoes in Nigeria. We are importing, I have to tell you, we are importing palm kernel from Ivory Coast, from Ghana. We are importing palm oil. And in the past history, I learned that the Malaysians come to take the seed from Nigeria. Why can't we go to palm plantation? If you go to palm plantation, like Okomu, they are having over 10,000 workforce direct. Go to Presco. In our plantation, we have employed over 500 people alone. Very small plantations, about 3,500 hectares. And we have not finished cultivating. All what we have cultivated is about 1,000 hectares. So by the time it's fully cultivated, we need minimum of about 1,500 people to be working in the plantation. Direct, not indirect. You know, if it's indirect, it's times 10. So if the government can put more money, try to assist the farmers, not only in arable crop and cash crop, even in animal husbandry, poultry, fishery. I don't think we need any foreign investor to come and tell us all this. This is what we know. Well, Sudit Slabman Group, which Sudit is part of, we have employed over 700 direct and indirect workers that are working in our organization.
Right now, Indonesia is the largest palm oil producer, yet most of the palm oil produced in Nigeria is not meant for industrial consumption. The population growth in Nigeria makes the shortfall possible because the large populace feed on palm produce. Yet, more is being done to increase the capacity for palm oil production in Nigeria, while importation is greatly reduced.
For Nigeria, we are trying. We cannot compare ourselves with Ghana. Nigeria is a third distance when you talk of palm production in the world, although far compared to Indonesia is the largest producer of palm oil in the world, about 32 million tons per year. Indonesia and Malaysia is about 28, 27. To Nigeria distance 900,000 tons per annum. Ivory Coast is about 400,000 tons, while Ghana is about 200,000. But if you look at the population growth in Nigeria, that's why we see the shortfall in Nigeria. Although most of the products, the palm oil we produce in Nigeria is not industrial. So we consume what we take as raw material, as crude, is being consumed by local people in Nigeria. So really it has effect really. And in the last 3-4 years, we now see that the raw material is one of our major challenges that have really hindered our growth in the country. So we are looking at backward integration, going to palm plantation, doing encouraging the farmers to produce more of palm and our raw material, which is soya beans. 4 years ago, we went to Okeogun. We give money and support to the farmers in Okeogun to plant soya beans. We are looking at, because the capacity we're having now is only being run at 30-25%. So we are looking at getting more land for palm plantation and getting our growers to join in this drive, and to make sure to really see that palm importation in Nigeria is being reduced to the barest minimum.
For a company that is a year old, Rofas Farm Limited is known for its symbiotic relationship with top brands in agriculture. Rofas Farm is therefore determined to increase the level of food security in Nigeria through vegetable farming. The farm has teamed up with Dzengaf to set up its share of food production in Nigeria.
We started Rofas Farms in November 2014. Initially, I wanted to go into, I had I had dreams of going into poultry. But along the line, a friend of mine who is a farmer, a poultry farmer, advised that the poultry farm, as good as it is, could be very challenging and quite cost intensive. He now opened my eyes towards vegetable farming, greenhouse farming in particular. He introduced me to Dizengoff. I went to Dizengoff and I was happy with the reception I had at Dizengoff. Dizengoff sells the greenhouses to us, and then they give us technical support also. And then our consumables we can always buy also from Dizengoff. So it's a kind of symbiotic relationship. They gain and you, the farmer, also gains. They get to sell their stuff, their greenhouses and consumables, and you get to make a living from those things that have been sold to you. I noticed the yawning gap, in a particular deficiency in food security in Nigeria. And I noticed there were quite a number of opportunities available for somebody who wanted to make a living from it. Aside making a living from it, you also contribute your own quota to food security or achieving food security in the country.
For Rufus, the beginning had not been that rough. Being able to provide the services or product that is excellent is what Nigerian wants to associate with. At the start, Rufus looked at close associates as prospective customers because the farm could sell vegetables that were of the same quality with ShopRite. And these farm produce were even fresher, harvested the same day. Then Rufus delivered to customers' home. But the demand was beyond what the farm could bear.
I must admit to you that the reception couldn't have been better. It's been awesome. Awesome in the sense that we have quite a number of Nigerians are very discerning. Discerning in the sense that the average Nigerian wants to buy something that looks good and is actually good also. The crops that come from a greenhouse will always catch your eye. It's something you want to see. Initially, when we started, my initial clients were my wife's friends. So we started there, and it was, aside us being friends, it was very welcome because it was something they had to go to maybe ShopRite or Spar to buy, but now it's going to come to them at home, and it's going to be the same quality. Aside being the same quality, it's fresh in the sense that it was harvested that particular day. It's not something you don't know when it was harvested or what chemicals or fertilizers were used in growing it. This is very fresh produce, and you're getting it the same day it was harvested. So it was, even at that close-knit circle, I couldn't meet up with the demand after a while. Then we had to expand. Then we now started thinking of corporate customers who could take in bulk. It's been a good ride. As pertaining to fertilizer, I haven't had much of a challenge because Dizengoff, aside selling the greenhouses, they sell it's a package. You buy the greenhouse and all your consumables for a year come with the greenhouse. Aside that, Lagos State has also been of some assistance, a little bit more than some assistance, because you can actually get fertilizers to buy from Lagos at a discounted rate. I buy fertilizers, I buy compost. They actually have an agency that's in charge of that, its core function is to reach out to farmers and sell those consumables at a discounted rate to farmers.
Nigeria is big enough to feed itself, judging by the landscape and manpower available. The most important thing to do now is to provide enough food for the people of Nigeria, and the federal government should get that message. More importantly, farming should become the #1 employing sector in Nigeria.
Like I said earlier on that was one of the reasons I went into farming, contributing my own quota into achieving food security in Nigeria. I feel very strongly that with our population and landmass, we have no business importing food. We have no business whatsoever importing food. We have all it takes to be able, if not for export, at least we should be able to feed ourselves. About that, there's no doubt in my mind. We should be able to feed ourselves. No doubt, agriculture and food security and bringing food to the table of the average Nigerian at an affordable cost must be one of the most important trusts of any government. If we're talking of policy somersaults, I think it's been either two, because of the oil boom that keeps coming and for a protracted length of time, it might be possible to have a somersault. But now, with what the oil market is saying, I don't see any way there can be a somersault. Let's even leave all that aside. When it comes to contribution to GDP, I think farming is the way. When it comes to creating employment for the teeming masses of Nigerians, I think farming is the way. When it comes to removing the average Nigerian from the poverty index, I think farming is the way. It's going to be almost impossible for the government to somersault this policy.
Information is very good, they said, but right information is very vital, especially to your business. Why not join us on Business and Economy Network, where you learn more about business information.
Well, we've been very busy, which doesn't surprise me. Right across Nigeria, all Nigerians are waking up to, we've got to feed ourselves. But we've got to feed ourselves at the same time. That industry, right the way from putting little seeds in the soil, even tilling the soil, putting seeds in the soil, having those seeds grow, harvesting, not wasting that harvest, getting the harvest out to the shops and to the people and onto their plates. I think everybody in Nigeria knows this is what we've got to do. The days of oil are over. The solutions to climate change basically is adaptation. These changes are coming. I mean, most of, or at least a high proportion of why climate change is happening, global warming, Nigeria's got no control over. It's happening in the industrialized economies. The United States is producing all these CO2 emissions. Europe, China, okay? So Nigeria hasn't caused the problem, okay? But Nigeria and a lot of the rest of Africa is going to suffer more greatly from the problem. So in a sense, I feel so sorry for Africa, okay? They're going to suffer from what somebody else caused, and they've got no power to stop them causing it anymore. So the fundamental thing Africa has to do is to adapt.
After I graduated, there were no jobs.
there was no money to set up a farm. So I decided to go into banking to work for a few years, give me some leverage to be able to come back. When I was going in, I made up my mind it was going to be for a period of time, and I was going to return to agriculture, which is my passion, which is what gives me job satisfaction, which is what makes me happy, and I know that we can drive and build. That was essentially it for me. I've looked at both sectors, and the truth of the matter is there is no satisfaction for me in finance. You do the same thing day in, day out. You go to the office, you sit down, you type memos, you visit customers and all that. But on the farm, you interact, you can look at plants, you can see something new every day, new diseases, new challenges, new opportunities, and the fact that you're actually feeding people. One other problem I have with the finance industry is that Nigerian banks really don't support businesses. So for me, that is a problem. I saw that on the inside and I felt, look, what am I doing here? If we cannot help businesses to grow, why am I here? Let me go back to my first love and build it up myself. As of today, we don't owe any bank because they keep coming up with the same challenges. Collateral, short tenors and all that. It won't work for agriculture. So we left them and we've been building our business ourselves over the time. So those are the challenges, those are the comparisons for both. I prefer agriculture. I encourage the youth to go into agriculture. I encourage my younger ones to practice agriculture. So aside from my own farm, my young brother, my kid brother has an oil palm farm, plantation. He's going oil palm as well. My mom has the poultry that she's running. So like I said, we're playing in agriculture. I'm very passionate about agri in this country, and I believe that that is the way for us to go. And until we get it right, we will keep having problems.
The entire essence of the expo is to showcase agricultural and industrial production in Nigeria. So for those companies that are involved in agriculture like Presco and down the agricultural value chain, it's this kind of forum and this kind of space that enables the companies to be able to show to the public, especially those who have had no opportunity to interact with them before, to see what is being done. More importantly also, as you will see, displayed by Presco, we try to show people our finished products, but also how we start from the very beginning to come to the finished product end. So it is educative for the customer, it is exposing for the producer, and in terms of the national economy, it puts us on the map, it puts us out there, that we see, that people begin to see from our nation the kind of things that we are doing in agriculture. One of the problems in that respect in West Africa or Africa is the fact that we have not been able to break through the subsistence level of farming. Only very few enterprises are involved at the agricultural scale. Of course, to break through the subsistence level, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place, both in the part of government, both in the part of farmers, to be able to achieve that. So what we are looking for and what is desired is that the capability to do it is there, the land is there. It now means the backup of the resources, whether it be financial, whether it be enlightenment, or pulling people together to do communal or collective or cooperative farming. There are also the issue of storage, because if we produce seasonally, the seasonal production is hurting us. If we have the ability to store and the marketing of these products is organized properly, we will see a boost from subsistence farming to large-scale farming.
Welcome back, viewers. Hope you had a wonderful time. For me, it was a very revealing episode. This is the much time we permit us to take. Let's do this again, same time, same station, next week. My name is still Uhioze Edna. God bless you. We love you.